Hello, my name is Darren Thomas and I am the Director of Educational Research Techniques. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the probability of the union of two events. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, there's some background information that I have to share before I get into the examples I have for you in this video. And so when we're talking about probability, we're talking about the likelihood or the chance of a given event occurring. And we reviewed all the terms about sample space and events and outcomes. We talked about that in a prior video. Now, the first thing we have to understand is what is a union? When you're talking about union, what exactly are you talking about? Well, a union is talking about two events, either one of them occurring or they're both occurring at the same time. And the symbol for that is this guy right here, union. So it could be either or both events occurring at the same time. So to give you an example, if I have A union B, what I'm telling you is the union of A and B, which means that either A can occur, B can occur, or both can occur. That's what's happening here. And of course, if I want to know the probability of A union B, I would write it like this. So the probability of A union B, that means A happening or B happening or A and B happening. That is what's happening there. And so it's very common when people do this is to draw a picture, for example, like this, and you have A and you have B like this. And so the union would be A happening or B happening or both happening. That's what's happening in this particular example. Sometimes it could be more complicated. You might have something like thirds or four, A, B, C, D. And so the union would be these guys right here. So the union would be 50%. That's what's happening there. So let me go back and continue my explanation here. Now, something else we need to understand is this symbol right here called intersection. And so the intersection is when the two events happen at the same time. So only when they both happen, in other words. And so intersection, let me write that here for you first. And so that is when both events have to occur. And so we will write this as A intersect B. And if you want to do the probability, it would be the probability of A intersect B. Excuse the handwriting. And so again, if I were to draw you a picture of this, and let's say I just do fourths here, and I have A and B, and let's see here, then I have C and D. Well, okay, so what is the probability of getting an A and a B at the same time? In other words, it cannot just be only A. It cannot only just be B. It has to be A and B at the same time. That's what's happening there. And so these are the terms that we need to understand as we move into our example here. So let's move to the example now. And so I already kind of filled it out. I know it's not that beautiful, but we have a little spinner here. And there are two things in each section. You have a number and you also have a color. So you have one yellow right here, two yellow, one yellow again, two purple, three gray, and four brown. And so what we are trying to figure out is that what is the probability of getting a yellow or a two? So the probability essentially of a yellow or a two. Now, if you're paying attention, if you're an A student, you probably could tell we're looking for the probability of yellow union two because that's kind of what the or means here. So we're just going to put that right here like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk this through and just give you an example, and then I'll give you the actual equation or the formula behind it after I do that. So we need to figure this out. So the first thing I have to figure out is, okay, what is the probability of getting a yellow? If I just know what the probability of getting a yellow is, yellow, that will help me out a lot. And so if I know the probability of getting a yellow, it looks like it's one, two, three. There's three yellows here out of six total sections. So that's 3 out of 6. Now I need to add to that the probability of getting a 2. So what's the probability of getting a 2? Well, if I look at this, there are 2 2s out of a total of 6. So that's what it is. And so there's six different potential outcomes here, if you will. And then now I need to subtract the likelihood or the probability of getting a 2 and a yellow at the same time. And there's only one time where you can get a 2 and a yellow out of the 6, and that's this guy right here, in case you can't see it. So that's going to be 1 out of 6. So if I do my basic math, 3 plus 2 is 5. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot. Whoops. Excuse me, let me fix that. So the probability of getting a 2 and a yellow at the same time. And so that's going to be 1 out of 6. So 3 plus, so we have the same denominator each time, so we can kind of ignore that for now. We know that our bottom number is going to be 6. So if we look at the numerators, 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So the probability of getting a yellow or a 2 is 4 out of 6. And if we want to reduce that, we can say 2 out of 3, like so. Now, with this, I want to share with you the actual formula that I use to get this. So here's a generic formula. So the probability of E, excuse me, I wrote that backwards. The probability of, let's see here, the probability of E plus the probability of F minus the probability of E intersect, I forgot to put my curve there, intersect is upside down. Probability E intersect F equals the probability of, oh, ugly again, of the union of E, F. So that's what we did. So what we did on this previous slide is we found the probability of getting a yellow, that's right here. And we found the probability of getting a 2, that's right here. And we subtract the probability of getting the intersection of a yellow and a 2. And when we got that, we got the probability of the union of yellow and 2. That's what happened there. And so you can see this is just basic math that we're doing here, but it's being applied in the context of probability. So with this knowledge, let's do one more example and see if we can see this now. So I'm just going to draw a little line right here. Okay, so this time what we want to know is the probability of getting a spade or the number 6 from a deck of standard cards. So we got 52 cards. So we need to figure out first, what is the probability of getting a spade? In other words, I'm kind of dealing with my E right now. What's the probability of getting a spade? So the probability of a spade. Okay, so we know that spades occur frequently in a deck. There's 13 of them out of 52 cards in a deck. Now, what's the probability of getting the number 6 out of a deck of cards? Well, the probability of getting a 6 out of a deck of cards is 4 out of 52. There's 4 6s in a deck of 52 cards. Now, minus the intersection of a spade and 6. So in other words, what is the probability of getting a 6 of spades? And so we know there's only one of those in the entire deck. And so if we calculate that, well, first let me write it out for you. Probability of a spade intersect 6. That's going to be 1 out of 52. Now, again, I could reduce these fractions, but we're going to keep it simple by having the same denominator everywhere. So we know that our bottom number is going to be 52 because we have the same denominator going across all the way. So let's see here. 13 plus 4 is 17. 17 minus 1 is 16. So we get 16 out of 52. And if we really want to be strict, we can reduce that to 4 out of 13. So that is our answer. And so you can see here that we can use this basic formula for finding the probability of two events when we're using the union for probability, the union symbol, if you will. So let me go back and review what we talked about and conclude the video. So in this video, we talked about how to find the probability of a union of two events. And so first we introduced some terms where the union is. It's kind of like either or both happening at the same time. That's the U symbol right here at the top. And then we looked at the intersection sign, which means both happening at the same time. Again, this is possible at times. And after we looked at that, we did our first example. I just gave you an example here where basically inside each little section of this little spinner here, this little circle, you can have a number and a color. And we are trying to figure out what is the probability of getting a yellow and a 2. And so we added up all the different probabilities and we subtracted the one where they both happened at the same time, and we were able to get our answer. From there, I introduced you to the actual formula for finding the probability of a union of two events right here at the top of the screen. And then we did one more example this time referring to what is the probability of getting a spade or a six in a standard deck of 52 cards. And so by using the formula that you can see here at the top, we were able to calculate the answer. So I hope that this video was useful for you and you were able to understand what we were talking about. My name is Darren Thomas. I am the Director of Educational Research Techniques. Take care.